All right, we're unmuted, so now we can do our sound checks. Mic 1 2 1 2. Mic check. Mic check.
Man, this is all professional and things. Holy.
Yeah, we gotta do the mic checks before we switch over to the live video
feed for everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is much more professional than I'm used to. My shoestring electronic setup is a little more high class than I'm used to. So I like this.
Get ready for this because I've also added transitions to my stream. Oh my god. Oh my god, we got transitions on the stream. That is awesome.
This is too fancy for me. I feel like I should be like pinkies up the whole time.
Pinkies out while you drink. Oh wait. We're classy AF here.
Yup, right here. That's right.
I just choked on my water.
And I'd kill you before the stream even starts.
It hurts. Oh, my eyes are watering. What's up, everyone, and welcome to Grab Your Ale and Share Your Tale with LotusOD.
Already down.
Oh, man. Oh, that hurts. I hate it when I do that. Anyways, we're here with Lotus, a fellow streamer, fellow lore seeker, and all-around great guy. If you have not seen his stream, let me do a shout-out right now. Actually, you know what? Bearded Chegg, you're a moderator. Can you shout out for me? Chegg? Oh my god. He's taking too long. Let me do a shout-out. I can't spell LotusOD. There we go.
Holy crap, that's me.
Oh no. So I added this little banner on the bottom. Hello, Twitch delay. Excuses. I added this new little banner on the bottom because they have a cool thing coming up here, which is September. Have you heard about this?
Oh, I have heard about this.
All right. So coming up here at the end of September, I don't know the exact date. They're supposed to be doing this $1 sub and $1 resub and $1 gifted subs. Wait, no. Active gifted sub in September. Extended extra month for $1. Okay, so I don't know the details of it yet, but
yeah, I was gonna say, I think if you are subbed to the channel, you can extend the sub for $1, and if somebody gifted it to you, they can extend it for you for $1. I believe is how it works. Like as long as you're already there, you're allowed to. What do you call it? It's allowed to extend.
Yeah, we'll just have to see what it does, because I mean, I don't know, because it doesn't make sense to me. Because when I try to, like, if I go in and I try to sub longer, I can't, because it says I'm already subscribed, so I can't extend it. And then if I try to gift someone a sub and they already have a sub, I can't extend their sub. So I don't know.
Right. Oh yeah, it's very fucking, to be honest. Yeah, that's kind of like it's one of those wording things where I'm curious exactly what it is. I mean, either way, it's kind of a cool little thing to keep people subbed.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wish they were a little more clear with it.
Yep. Check's saying the same thing. They didn't really give a lot of details on this, so it's going to be one of those wait and see. And I was in Ninja's.
Figure it out as you go.
I was in Ninja's channel, of course. You saw me there. And and I was talking to him about it, and I start looking up some information, and then I'm like, no, man, it says 50% off of subs, and it's supposed to be going on now, and it's extended through October whatever. And he's like, no, that's not what the sub thing is about. And so I'm looking at it. I'm like, oh, I'm looking at the stupid article from last year. So I had no idea. I didn't know what I was
Somebody
doing.
did that to me with Mid-Year Mayhem. Like, I was like, dude, look at when Mid-Year Mayhem starts. I was like, it didn't start 3 days ago. That's this 2017. Dude. He's like, oh, I'm like, yeah, I don't.
Oh, we have to read all the details of what it is.
Oh, there's more to that.
Dang it. All right, well. Hang on, I'm still adjusting my screens a little bit. All right, so let's get into this here, Lotus. So Lotus is a fellow lore seeker, and he is in our PS4 guild, which is up and running and doing awesome. And I mean, you guys have so many different events going on.
Yeah, they are pretty fantastic and very well organized. I'm
Oh
actually super
yeah,
proud to be part of them. They jumped up so fast, like
yeah,
out of like, hey, we want a console guild to, okay, we have like 100 members already in there, like
yeah.
crushing through trials. And anytime they do stuff with me, we just obliterate in the Imperial City or dungeons and everything. I was like, wow, this escalated quickly.
Yeah, exactly. It's exciting, man. I didn't, and that's the thing is like when we started with just the PC, we didn't know there would be any interest for console players because we figured, okay, everyone's on console, they're probably well established already. But then we come to find out a lot of PS4 and Xbox players have been playing solo and pugging a lot. So they didn't have, too much
It's
organization or anything like that. So,
it's definitely a weird dynamic shift where like I mean we are definitely left behind a little, not by you guys but just like we're kind of separated the way we're on console. I assume it's similar on Xbox. Any of my friends on Xbox that play, it's like we've got our own little communities. We're a little more, like you said, segregated at times, but at the same time, it's like, we have the delay on DLC and stuff like that.
mhm.
But it's like, then when you see the numbers and you notice how many people are on, it's just like there's so many people on all of their platforms. They really crushed it by actually having it on everything. So it's like we got a decent sized community floating around on there, and some of them are really good.
Yeah. No, it's awesome, man. I love how well structured and how well PS4 and Xbox are communicating and getting things together. And it's like the leadership in PS4 and Xbox both see what's going on with PC and they're like, we want to do the same thing. We're like,
Oh, absolutely.
just
They're
do
great
it.
with that.
You don't
Yep.
yeah, you don't need permission from us. Just go with it. And that's
Yeah.
what we're trying to do is get the console divisions to be autonomous and be able to, run off and do their own thing. They're leaders. They're the ones charging ahead with it. So,
Yep. No, they do a very good job. And I was going to say, anytime I've got a question with anything, it takes either Caddy or Never Separate, like,
mhm.
give it an hour. And
Yeah.
they've responded like, wow, I didn't even remember that I had that in Discord posted that long ago. And you guys answered it quicker than I even got home. I was like, okay, whatever, problem solved.
Oh yeah. And
Yeah.
that's the other crazy thing is how active people are in Discord from both Xbox and PS4. Like,
Oh, it's crazy. I can't keep up. I come home from work and it's like you've missed 214 messages in general and like another 140 on your side, on your PS4 guild. I'm like, oh my lord, I got some reading to
oh
do.
yeah, yeah. No, yeah, that's like everyday occurrence. I have so many of the channels now not set up to alert me, and I just go in there as I can. And
Yes.
so now that you finally said something, it gave you your automatic shout out there.
Okay, that's what that was. I was
Yeah.
like, what the hell?
I set up automatic shout outs for certain streamers and stuff. So I had yours set up, and I was like,
That was pretty
I
good.
wonder if I should mute those or nah, I'll just let them go this time.
No, that was a solid surprise.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
All right. So what we were talking about, I got squirreled there.
Oh Christ.
Oh, the active.
um,
Yeah. So the active activity going
oh
on
yeah, yeah.
on the Discord. Yeah, it was surprising because a lot of people told us that, since PS4 and Xbox don't really have good integration with Discord, we thought, oh, okay, well, they'll be able to check in once in a while and see what's going on, but they probably won't be very active. But yeah, every single day, like I jump off at 9 or 10 o'clock at night from Discord,
Mm-hmm.
and then I get on the next day, and there's like 100 and something messages
Oh yeah, it's
missed.
crazy.
I'm like,
Yep.
kidding? From
Oh yeah.
overnight too?
I
So,
know it's not same thing with work. I get home from work. I'm like, oh my god. I was like, man, if I had a desk job, I could maybe keep up with some of this. So it's like otherwise, like, nope, not a chance.
yeah. What is it? I see Steve already. I could I couldn't remember, but I remember on the stream people were talking about when you were tanking, you like kill everything or something like that, and so I tried to
I only
incorporate.
play the one character. Yeah, I'm one of the few weirdos that only plays a single. I've got 8, but I only play one, and I
Yeah.
play like any Elder Scrolls game where I don't like making alts. So I'm also a completionist. I want to beat everything on just that one character, no matter how stupid or long it takes.
Oh
So,
no, I'm the same way because like my
yeah.
Orchid is my main character, and I play
Mm-hmm.
almost everything with that guy. But like my other one, Healy McFeely, my
I love
Templar,
that name.
yeah, my Templar healer. That one I'm starting to get more into because I want to be able to heal and try the other aspects with trials and dungeons and stuff like that. So
Yep.
and then I have my Sork Guide that just dinged
That's clever.
50.
I haven't seen that one yet.
he's my lightning Sork, so all sorts of rain. I did nothing but PvP with him all the way up to level 50, and that was it. And I had
That
so much
was
fun.
that effective?
Oh yeah,
The
that thing can
PvP
melt
aspect to
people.
level up?
Yeah,
No, I meant to like level up through PvP. Is that
yeah.
quick?
Well, I made
I because
him
I never
during.
jumped into it until long after I had already capped,
Yeah,
and I kind of went in with my CP advantage to try to push people around because I'm not that.
it is. It's a really quick way. I started him during Mid-Year Mayhem, so there was a lot more
Okay,
XP at the time and everything.
sure.
So I probably leveled him up in about a month. No, not even a month. Yeah, no, about a month.
That's
And
not too bad.
and yeah, it was just a lot of fun because in the Lore Seekers we do a lot of under 50 PvP because you get over
Mm-hmm.
50 and
It's a
it's
different
pretty
beast once
tough.
people start bringing in their other stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You really got to be specced out for PvP if you're going over 50.
Yeah.
So yeah, we do a lot of under 50 PvP, and that's a lot of fun for me because then I can go in there and have a lot of fun with them, stuff like that. So, um, what's up, Teen Crumpet? The man. Oh,
Hey, it's Dean Crumpet.
there it goes.
How you doing, my friend?
The myth. The legend. Teen Crumpet.
That is the best one.
I love it, man. It's so much fun. All these sound bites that me and Mikey work on. It's always so much fun to do these. What's up, Mikey Shoop? We're doing great here. All right, so let's jump into this. We kind of segued. We went straight into like a whole conversation without going into the segments of the show. Which, you know what, I've given it a lot of thought, and I'm wondering. Like, I really like the structure of how I do the show, but I do like just having a more casual conversation. So, like,
Sure.
I'm not going to my like I have a Word document up every time I do this stream, and it helps me with trying to keep the conversation moving and everything. But every single stream I've had so far, I've only asked. I think when I did my original one with Jibs and Cash, and then the second one I did with who was it? Spit? I don't remember. Whoever the second person was on the show. It's been
I
so
lose
long
track of the
now.
order of them. Some of them I watch on like backlog because I like to actually see them.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll like if I miss a Monday or something like that because I stream usually around the same time as you. Hence the like one of my favorite moments on Twitch was when we managed to rate each other at the exact same moment, which is still my favorite clip possibly ever.
I have that. Hold on. That's
That is the
called
funniest clip if you've got that. I love that. That was
Rateception.
so
Yes.
good.
I
That
put
was
that as
so
a
good.
command, man. That was
That was so funny because there were just so many people in both of
Lotus
our
of
things at the same
Doom.
time. It was like, no.
Oh man, and that goes back in. So like so one thing people don't see is like when we start up sound checks 15 minutes prior, I usually start talking with the person, checking the levels. Oh man, I keep hitting my microphone. It's way too close. I do all sorts of checks and stuff beforehand because there's been a lot of streams where I start like 5 minutes before and I run into a lot of issues. So I've been really been trying to do like a 15 minutes before, get people on and stuff like that. But that's the thing, is like a lot of people don't see the conversation we're having before the stream. And
Right.
just like we were talking about the community in Twitch and how supportive of each other are.
Oh, it's
I mean,
crazy.
yeah.
I mean the event that you and literally everyone else helped me with over the summer for that 24-hour marathon for our friend Amy.
Yeah.
I mean out of my group of friends to start with, I always do at least one 24-hour marathon for charity a year. And this one was kind of a weird circumstance. So we were like, okay, we'll see if I can do something with this. And I
Yeah.
was like, I've made so many friends in this community. Maybe they'd be willing to help. And then when like people were taking screenshots and they're like, "Oh, you're currently the #1 population streamer on this," I'm
Oh
like,
yeah.
"Oh my god!" I was like, "This is
Yeah.
way more than I
It's
could have intended." Like, whoa, this is like that was absolutely outrageous. Like, I was burnt out after that, not from being tired for like the first time ever. My mind was blown from that whole thing, where I was just like, that was so much more support from everybody in the community than I could have ever fathomed. So it
yeah.
was just like it was just like overwhelming.
Well, and I can't believe how many streamers are willing to give up. Like a lot of them do a 24-hour stream. They give up their personal time and personal revenue to go do these charity events. And you see all of them. Like yourself, you did your stream. Ninja just did one, and he shut off his
Oh my
donations,
god.
and he
I
told
love
everyone,
that.
yeah, the St.
That was so
Jude's,
good.
yeah,
Yep.
and just he was telling everyone, don't sub the money that you're gonna sub, do the donation link for St.
Yep.
Jude's. If you're gonna give me bits, don't give me bits. Do it for the charity, stuff like that. So he was like all over it. He shut
Yep.
off
No, that
his
was an incredible event they did.
yeah.
I was so glad I got to. I mean, I didn't make it. The 24-hour things, like this will be the first year I try 2 of them. I've got another one coming out for Extra Life the week after Fallout 76 drops. I've got my Extra Life 24-hour marathon.
Mm-hmm.
But like one of those is usually enough for me. I love sleep way too much. But like I like jumping in to other people's, but it's like, man, when I watch somebody else do it, I'm like, oh my god, I feel it's just I want them to take a nap. Like I feel bad for them. But it's like when Ninja did it, and it was such a good cause that they did for it, and they raised so much money. It was crazy. Like
No,
that was
and it's funny too because like I'm saying Ninja, but he wasn't the only one involved with it. But that's the
no, there
thing
were like
is like,
14 of them, I think,
oh
or
yeah,
16 of them. There were
yeah,
so many people in that. It was nuts. I was trying to jump around to the different ones just to say, hey, here's some bits, like put them toward the pile, like whatever.
yeah.
So,
While he was doing his, I was going through and I was like at first I started with a donation and just to kick things off, and then I started telling Ninja, I'm like, he was telling everyone, if all you have is $1 to donate $1. If all you have is $5 that you're gonna sub, donate it. And I like started joking around in the chat, and I'm like, even if you're gonna pay $3.50,
$3.50. I caught the
so,
end of that
yeah.
after that joke had caught on.
I was like, yes.
Bit.
So I started going to other streamers. I'm like, I started putting like on the donation comment, I'd be like, I'm Loch Ness, I can't pay you nothing, but I can donate $3.50.
I love that. Yeah, the gif of the Loch Ness monster after the event was pretty funny too.
Oh my gosh, it was so much fun. And I love getting into those kind of streams. Like one day, I know, so me and Cash have been talking about setting up a 24-hour stream to do charity event, which he's a very big a very big supporter of Extra Life. And
that's actually how I talked to him first.
Yeah.
That was my initial conversation. Was we kind of bonded over the fact that we both love the concept behind Extra Life.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing is like, even though he has no one that in his life that has been impacted by it or has had to use money from that organization, he's still very active with that charity and does a lot of work with them. So I told him, let me know the next time you guys do a 24-hour stream. I will set up my stream, and I'm gonna try to do, if I can get a 24-hour, I'll try it, but wife and kids and
yeah, it takes a lot of planning.
Yeah,
like my wife is very nice. She bakes for us. She makes us food. She's like, no, I know you're busy. She's like, it's fine. She's like, it's always for a good cause. She's like, I'll make you food. You can sit there and be a nerd for 24 hours. You're not gonna have any other responsibilities. She's like, but then, once you wake up the next day, you're gonna mow the lawn and cut down a bunch of trees. And I'm like, that's fine. That's fair. Like,
that's awesome, man.
I'm okay with that. So.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that is so funny. No, I gotta have your wife talk to my wife and see if she can do the same thing.
Here, it's very, that makes it so much easier.
Yeah, you be a nerd for 24 hours.
It's just like you do you, and then afterwards you go back to reality.
Yeah, exactly. No, yeah, but I think that's the hardest thing for me to be able to do that would be the overnight, just because all the kids sleeping, my wife's sleeping, I don't want to get too loud and everything. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Luckily, the one thing is, I mean, I'm pretty rambly, especially when I'm trying to like stay talking on my own stream or something like
Yeah.
that. And I mean, we do dungeons yelling at each other all the time, which is helpful. But after about the 16 to 20 hour mark, usually my vocal cords are just shot. So it's like suddenly I can't talk above a whisper, anyways. So
Yeah.
if she wants to go to bed, suddenly it doesn't matter because she can barely hear me say goodnight. So it's like that's that's the only saving grace of the sleeping situation here.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I might try it out. I think if anything, I could do like at least a 12-hour stream. So we'll see.
That's what I was gonna say. You can warm up to it too. You do like a
Yeah.
12-hour one and see how well you handle it. Because
Yeah.
it's like, man, you never realize how difficult sitting still is until
Oh,
you
yeah.
try to do it.
Well,
And it's like at 20 hours, it's like, oh God, all I want to do is stand up right now, and I need to just take a lap. Like this is
yeah.
too much. It's
Yeah.
like,
What's the problem? Recovery. Oh yeah, the recovery checks.
yeah,
I
the
see
recovery is never fun.
Yeah.
It's weird that you get used to it the more you do it. That one baking guy, I always joke, just makes my 24-hour streams look. I'm always like, oh man, those last 4 hours are rough. I think that dude's done 16 this year.
Oh yeah.
And I'm just like, and when he did the fishing one, I was like, how the hell are you going to fish for 24 hours? I like fishing in ESL.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm going to hang myself with that rod. No way. Like, that is way too extreme.
Like, I've been getting into fishing now. So, like, every Fridays, I'm doing my Fishing Friday stream.
Mm-hmm.
And after, like, 4 hours of fishing, I'm like, oh, okay, I can't take this anymore. So, yeah, I don't know how he did that for 24 hours, but
Yeah, it's
geez.
crazy.
Oh well. All right, so let's get into some of the structure of my stream here. Of course, we start off with the first basic question. If you don't feel like answering any of them, you don't have to. The first question is, Lotus, what's your real name?
My real name is Michael Roble.
Michael.
I share the same last name as Eric Roble, who works on the game, and he's the only other Roble I've ever heard of in my life.
No relation, though, huh?
No relation. It was
Dang
very
it.
weird when I first heard that. I was like, holy crap, there's another one of us? That is unheard of. Like,
you should tell him anyways. Be like, yeah, we're stepbrothers. Or
long lost brothers.
Yeah. There
So
you go.
about that Come and Merkmeyer DLC, brother, like, what's up with that?
You got any of them torch bug codes I could get? Oh man, no, that'd be funny. So let's see, what else is there? So where I'm assuming, do you live in the U.S.?
I am. I am over by I'm over up in New England. I'm actually just north of Boston.
Are you really?
Yeah, so I'm pretty close. Like, I got to meet the devs this last year that work at ZOS. I got to meet Gina Bruno and
Oh, cool.
what do you call it? Mike Finnegan and everybody, Rich Lambert. I got to meet them all at the Bethesda Game Day at PAX East.
Yeah.
Because we drive down to PAX East. It's like a 25-minute drive from where I live.
Yeah.
So it's right around the corner. And this year they did the big thing with Elder Scrolls, and I was like, oh, this is going to be awesome. Like, maybe they'll actually be there. And we were talking to, some of them. Mike Finnegan, I thought was funny because I was chatting with him, and I was like, oh yeah, our gimmick is we like to beat all of your dungeons without using a healer. And much to my surprise, he was like, oh, he's like, I think I've seen your tweets on Twitter about that, where you're doing FU Finn, I don't need a healer. I was like, yeah, that is me. And he was like, oh, let me buy you a beer and talk about how we're going to prevent that from happening going forward. And we literally just sat there, and a bunch of it, he just sat down, drank a beer with us. They were super nice people. Yeah, I was just like, this is so cool. They're just super easygoing people. So
yeah, I'll have to check that out. I really want to go out to TwitchCon. But I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make it this year, because I told my wife, I'm like, I want to go to TwitchCon, and she's like, what? I'm like, it's a convention about Twitch. She's like, yeah, but what? Like, come on, it's something I'm getting interested in. So thank you both, Lindsay and Dovahkiin?
Oh, it's Dovahkiin
Yeah.
Dream. It's my buddy Matt.
It's hard to
He's one
see it
of
on the
my
screen.
yeah, he's actually one of my DPS who always runs the dungeons without a healer
Oh,
with me.
yeah.
He's
Nice.
a resident, one of our resident Magicka sorcerers.
Yeah.
So
I've been picking on Cash lately because I now have oh, what is the skill in Undaunted that you heal yourself? Um, why can't I think of it now? Anyways, there's a healing skill in one of the lines, and I started using that now with my rotation.
okay.
And so I'm Vigor. Thank you, Mikey Shoot. So I use Vigor, and I've been telling Cash, I'm like, yeah, we don't really need healers anymore. You guys are irrelevant.
Yeah,
So he's like, really?
yeah, to be fair, outside of trials, if you have some people who can self-sustain, you can really, it's amazing. People have commented, they're like, oh, I don't even understand how that's possible. And actually, Cash was in the one we just did the Moon Hunter Keep ones on console launch this last week. And Cash was in there and he was like, this is some very different stuff than I'm used to seeing. And I was like, yeah, it's all about chain whipping everybody in the middle. I got to get everybody's attention. And my DPS just hits everybody with as many AoEs as possible. And I spam them with vigor and shields and they self sustain. And it's like amazing what you can do with more damage and less healing.
Yeah.
Things can't kill you if they're all dead.
Oh yeah. No, what was it? I was running with Chegg. Was it this past week? We were doing some trials, and then T the Khajiit messaged me, and she's like, "Oh, do you want to run dungeon with me?" I'm like, "Yeah, I do," because I love watching T the Khajiit. She's so much fun.
T's so funny. I loved her PvP thing during.
She's such a sweet and innocent person to watch her play
she's
PvP.
So quiet, and she's like chucking meat bag catapults at people, and I'm like, T for amp, and she's like, I don't think that's gonna happen. I was like, no, T for amp. It's like, you got this.
Oh, it's so funny, man. But yeah, she asked me, she's like, oh, do you want to run some dungeons? I'm like, yeah, sure, let's do it. And then we were trying to find other people. We ended up finding 2 other DPS, and we're like, all right, let's try it. So we went through just a normal dungeon, and we just melted everything, just running straight through. It was like not even a single person went down. It was so much fun. But I was like, yeah, we need to try that on a vet dungeon and see if that's possible.
Oh yeah, it takes a little. It's weird. I always tell people. From like actually one of the other people, it's how I heard about Lore Seeker's original, the Tales of Tamriel podcast, Arcaneer and Agellos. They, they introduced me to to Cash and Jibs, and they've had a few things where they've recently started doing it. And they're like, "Oh, what do you do about this and this?" And I'm like, "You're overthinking it. Just smash the things as hard as you can, and just keep the things off your damage, and you'll be surprised how much less time you have to spend in fights because." That extra person doing damage really burns through stuff quick. Yeah. And they were like, we just obliterated like White Gold Tower Vet. I was like, I told you it's not that bad. It seems more daunting than it is.
Yeah. No, it's a lot of fun. Definitely something I want to try out and experiment with. The right group and, seeing what they can do. So Donovan needs to start sticking with a name because I didn't realize that's Diggit and also King.
King Clutch. And he got that. He got the King Clutch title after he saved the menagerie fight when we were on the marathon. I called him King Clutch, and he stuck with that. Yeah, he likes to diversify.
Yeah, every time he's on my stream. Every time he comes to my stream, he's got a new name. So I'm like, come on.
Yep, he'll do that.
Yeah. All right. Anyways, let's see. So what else is there? So let's go back into new. What are you drinking tonight? Looks like you actually have an ale.
Yeah, actually, it's mead. For some reason, every time I'm in Elder Scrolls crap, I usually buy some mead and sip on it.
Yeah.
And it's I don't even know what it is, but it's pretty good, whatever it is.
You're like,
I grabbed it off the shelf. I was like, I'll try it and taste it. Yeah, it's pretty good.
That's funny. Oh, so I was gonna say, so I'm gonna reel it back in. I'm gonna go back to another one of the questions. So outside of gaming and outside of Elder Scrolls, what is it that what's the kind of things you like to do? You got any kind of hobbies or anything?
So I'm a huge football fan. My team is terrible. I love the
Mm.
LA Chargers, formerly the San Diego Chargers. They're a huge disappointment, but
Uh,
I like
who
them,
likes the
even though I'm not.
Chargers?
That's what everybody says, including family members from San Diego. And they were in San Diego, and they're like, nobody likes the Chargers. I'm like, shut up, I like the Chargers. But
That's funny.
yeah, I'm sure there'll be a disappointment again this year. I'm a, I love what do you call it? I used to be big into mixed martial arts. I'm a big UFC fan.
Really?
Yeah, I was gonna say I used to kind of train with it a while back or whatever. But between playing football, because I'm not the biggest dude, well, I'm tallish, but I'm not super heavy. I got beat up pretty bad playing football as a wide receiver. And what do you call it? I put some chips in my vertebrae in my neck. So I had pretty severe
Oh,
surgery. So yeah, I was going to say, contact sports are pretty frowned upon with me. So I go to the gym a bunch just to try to stay healthy or whatnot.
yeah.
But that kind of ended my MMA stuff and a decent amount of my football stuff. But I still like watching it.
Yeah. No, that's cool.
Yeah.
Um, so what do you do, like, okay, so you work out at the gym and you used to play football and MMA. Did you actually like train MMA or
Oh
did you?
yeah, yeah. I was a brown belt in Kempo. What do you call it? I started some minimal Muay Thai, and then that had kind of been like the end of that.
Yeah.
I played football up into high school for a while, and then that's where I got pretty screwed up. So I was like,
Oh.
okay, that's kind of the end of it. So before college, that was where it was. I was kind of like, okay, well, I need to kind of minimize how much direct contact I take blows to stuff. Um, and then I just switched to, they were like, oh, well, we're not sure how much you can do. I don't like being told, like, oh, you can't physically do something.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, you might have some, minimal lifting stuff and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, it's a pipe against the side of my spine. It's not, I didn't lose an arm.
Yeah.
So I started going to the gym and I started lifting and it was a nice outlet since I couldn't do what I did previously, and I ended up liking it. It's a good stress reliever, stuff like that. And that's kind of what I do now. I've been antsy to get back to it since I moved into a house this spring,
Mm-hmm.
and that's been more time consuming than I had accounted for
Yeah.
originally.
Yep. That can take up quite a bit of time. So
Yes, sir.
as soon as you start owning a house, then you start fixing the house and upgrading the
I
house. And
quickly learned that. I was like,
yeah,
oh, that's funny. I have no free time or money anymore. That's weird. I thought that was supposed to save some of those.
yeah. Now that we're in the process of buying a new house, I'm finding myself fixing this house like almost every weekend. There's something that I find, like
Trying to make it a little more sales worthy.
yeah, like the toilet won't stop running sometimes when you flush. I'm like, okay, I went out to Walmart this morning, fixed that. Now what's next on my list? So
Yeah, no,
it's
I
like,
hear that completely.
yeah. But no, it's exciting to be a homeowner. So
Oh yeah, no, I actually I would not go back to apartment living after this. Like now I can do whatever I want. When I wanted to set stuff up here, I was just like, all right, well, I'm just gonna re-baseboard this room because it's mine. I'll do what I want. So
yeah.
it's like I set up a game room. I was like, this is great. Like,
Oh
so
man,
no,
I can't
big
wait.
fan.
So is that what you're in right now? You have your own
I
separate game
am.
room?
Yeah. So my wife always says that when she would like to watch classy TV like Downton Abbey or something like that, and I want to either play video games or watch football, she's like, that's fine. She's like, go upstairs and go away. So I just go up here, I shut the door, I turn on the AC, and I just fire up my video games or whatever. So was that a paper airplane?
No,
Tell
my
me that was a
son.
paper airplane.
I threw something at my son. He threw it back at me.
Oh, I was gonna say, I thought he pelted you with a paper airplane. It's like, oh, you totally had pretty good aim on that.
So the other conversation we had before we started streaming, I told you how they usually, go off and do something different while I'm doing my stream. Well, he just so happened to start playing his games now again, right as we started streaming. And I'm like, dude, really?
See,
Like,
you instigated him to defy. No.
yeah, I guess I shouldn't have said anything. Then maybe we would have stayed off. But anyways, so when did you start getting into gaming and stuff then? Was it like
So it's kind of funny. A lot of people talk about like, oh, I've been gaming since I was little. I sort of was, but I actually never became like I didn't consider myself much of a gamer for a long time. My dad had a regular NES, and he taught me to play Tecmo Bowl, which is actually one of the reasons that the Chargers is my team. I was like 4 or 5, and he was teaching me to play it, and the only team I could say was Bolts. So he taught me that playbook, and apparently I got hooked on that team. I just have liked them as long as I remember. He's like, man, out of all the teams my son needs to pick, he picks this crappy team that nobody likes. And he was like, but whatever. And then I started following them. and but like I'd play like a game of Tecmo Bowl. I'd play like I think I had Wolfenstein 3D on my computer or something like
yeah.
that. I had like no games, and then the N64 came out, and I played Mario and GoldenEye at a Toys R Us, and I was like,
Yes.
dude, video games are sweet. What is this stuff?
Yeah.
And I immediately went out and bought one. And since then, I've been like, oh man, these are great. So I got in kind of late to the game and then kind of jumped really into it. So
You know, I think GoldenEye was kind of a gateway for a lot of people to start
yeah,
gaming
that
because
game like blew my mind.
yeah,
I
because
was
you
like,
always had at
what?
least 4 people playing that, and then other
Oh,
people that wanted to
absolutely.
switch in and out. Yeah, I got next
Yep.
round. It's
Yep, and
like,
you used to put the thing down the middle of the screen so you couldn't screen cheat. You had the
yeah,
blanket in the middle, and you did top teams so you couldn't cheat. It was
yeah,
oh yeah, no, that was some fun stuff,
yeah.
and that was kind of got me what got me hooked more onto it. So
God, they need to go back and make a game just like that again because you got I mean you got all these other games that are first person shooters and stuff like that, but
oh yeah,
it's a lot more people. They need to go back to the old school, 4 people in a round, shoot
yep,
it
an
out,
arena
and
you just
yeah,
blast each other and that's it. Yep,
yeah.
no, those were always a lot of fun.
There's actually a game that was being developed. So the Stargate series. Are you familiar with Stargate?
I know of it. I don't know a lot about it, but I
Yeah.
know of it. A bunch of my friends really like it.
So they were trying to build a game called Stargate Universe, and
Okay.
while they were developing the game, they started developing another game, and I don't remember the name of it now, but it was basically like a shooter game, and I think it was like a 4v4 or 6v6 or something like that. It was really small arenas, and it was a lot of fun because like you could pick your different people that you wanted to play, choose the
Mhm.
different side. Either you were the Stargate Alliance or you were with the I forget the guy's name, Raw something Raw. I forget his name. Um,
Okay.
so you choose a different side, you have different abilities, stuff like that, and it was a lot of fun because it was basically just endless battles back and forth, trying to, you know, kill the other team and stuff like that. And I had a
Yeah,
lot
the
of
small
fun with
scale
that game.
arena
So
shooters have kind of been lost,
yeah,
with the old Unreals and stuff like that. Those kind of don't really exist much anymore.
yeah.
It's
Now you got
battle
the
royales or
yeah
mega
PUBGs
fights,
and
which
Fortnites. Yep.
which it's just a different brand of stuff. I used to be a big Call of Duty person. I
Hmm.
was in a couple like tournaments for those, and like Unreal I used to love. But it's like those games kind of just aren't the same thing they used to be anymore. So it's like I that's kind of when I noticed I shift off shooters and onto stuff like Elder Scrolls instead. So
Quake is Quake still Quake? I don't know. I haven't played Quake in so long.
the new one's actually not too bad. It's got some free to play stuff. I was terrible at it at Bethesda Game Day because it was required keyboard and mouse. And even when I used to play like in competitions, I was one of those people who would find a way to wire up a controller and people would think it was weird, but it's just how I play.
Yeah.
And man, I had to use keyboard and mouse for Quake specifically. And good God, my aim was trash. I was like knee shotting everybody. I was like, well, this is embarrassing. I'm just going to sit down. It's like, I think I'm good here. So,
That's another thing that's kind of surprised me over the years is like, when you were a PC gamer back in the day, you played keyboard and mouse. That was basically the
mhm.
only way you could play. But now there's a lot of people out there that play with Xbox controllers or some other type of controller on PC. Like I know Blood Eye does, Mixie Girl does,
Yep.
there's quite a few other streamers that do too, and it's I used to play only PlayStation before,
Okay.
and I got so used to that controller that you could really get the movements down. You knew exactly how much pressure to put on the there's Blood Eye. You knew exactly how much pressure to put so that way you could turn in certain ways at certain speeds and everything. But I've gotten so used to the keyboard and mouse that now I've lost that reflex and that muscle memory, that playing Xbox with my son or anything, I just feel so lost. So
Well, it's kind of funny you say that. One of my buddies who actually just recently got ESO with his wife, they're big PC people, and they were like, oh, we got PlayStations, we've been interested in ESO, would you want to? And we were like, oh, absolutely, it's super user friendly, you can jump right in with us. And they were doing that, and they've been enjoying it a ton. And then we've been excited about Fallout 76, and they were like, okay. So he tried playing Fallout 4, and he tried playing Borderlands, and he's like, "Oh wow, I can't do shooters. Nope, this isn't working." And I was like, "Really?" He's like, "No, this just does not work. I can't do this."
yeah,
It's like it's so weird because it was like it's just the exact opposite side of the spectrum for me, where I'm like, "Man, you give me a keyboard and mouse and a shooter."
mm-hmm.
And it's like I need a 4-hour warm up before I can hit the broadside of a barn. Whereas like you
Yeah.
give me two joysticks, how do you aim so fast? I was like, I don't know, muscle memory, I think. Like,
Yeah, well, and that's my thing is like, and that's the thing that's really hard is like, people that play with controllers, they are so used to it that, yeah, exactly like you said, going from one to another is really hard transition. Now,
mhm.
I'm so used to using a mouse and having the luxury of doing my, uh, you know, up, what is it, changing the DPI on a mouse so that way it's either more sensitive or less sensitive. Then you can kind of control that stuff on the fly if you need slow movement or fast movement, stuff like that. Whereas controller, you lose some of that effect. So I don't know. I
Absolutely. And I mean, a lot of things are programmed with like a sticky aim with shooters. Oh, actually, I think Cheng literally just said that. Yeah, I was going to say most controllers have auto aim. A lot of them do. Like a lot of them, they have like a sticky aim. And
mhm.
it's funny because I always have to turn it off because the sticky aim screws with me. And I know it's supposed to be there to help. I don't know what it is about, like, there's no denying a controller is not as precise as just pointing exactly at what you want, like you'd have with a mouse,
Yeah,
but it's like for some reason being able to do it instantly without the gradual push toward it
yeah.
is what screws with me. It's like too instant, even though I have my sensitivity on like really, really high. It's just like a weird thing that I think your brain just kind of adjusts to.
Oh yeah, yeah. And that's definitely the thing. Is like, yeah. So I had this conversation in the car with my wife and my son before. Was we have this. There's this group going around that are trying to get esports as a valid type of sport for schools and have it actually um, as one of the supported sports in schools. And we were talking about it because she brought up this meme, and it basically said, me telling my son, I don't get why you can watch kids or watch people play video games. What's the point? Also, me watching people buy houses on HGTV. So I'm like, that's the thing is this day and age is all reality TV. It's all
Yeah.
there's no more. Well, I mean, not that there's no more sitcoms or anything like that, but
But they're a backseat compared to just
yeah,
like, hey, do you want to watch people's reactions to all these things? It's like,
yeah,
not particularly, but okay. I mean,
yeah.
whatever works.
And,
Like,
and the media of today is changing so much that it's not just like I canceled my DirecTV subscription like I think 7 or 8 years ago now, and I've done nothing but use either streaming media or rental online stuff. I
mhm.
did Redbox every once in a while, but then that kind of died out too. Where now, that's the way things are going towards entertainment now is Twitch, YouTube,
Yeah.
what's the other one, Mixer. They're
Yep.
they're really big right now because kids these days are really entertained by other people being interactive with them and
Exactly. I was gonna say it's different
yeah,
when you like talk to somebody and they actually talk back.
yeah,
Like
and then you
when I
have
stream, it's just like, okay, I'm literally just like, okay, this is just like my scheduled time that I can play a game and
mhm,
just kind of talk to people. It's not so much just like, oh, well, I'm gonna do this. It's like if I just wanted to do that, I'd just play. Otherwise, it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be chatting with people at the same time. So
yeah.
it's it's a different type of medium.
Yeah, and that's one of the things like I never understood when my son was watching YouTube. I'm like, you're basically just watching someone play a game of a game that you own and you could play yourself. Why are you watching them and not just playing it yourself? And he's like, oh, they're really funny, or they're really entertaining, stuff like that. And I started watching some of the YouTubers that he was watching and seeing what the quality was like and stuff like that, and it became very entertaining to see that. And then there's other things like my daughter is really into like the families that do video blogs, the vlogs on
Okay,
YouTube.
yeah, yeah.
And so
Yep.
there's quite a few of those too that we watch, not on a regular basis, but we watch them every once in a
You
while.
jump in and out or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. And now, so now I was always the one that was like, just play the game yourself. Don't sit there and watch other people. Now I'm to the point where, like, I get on work for the day and I usually have at least one or two streamers up and watching them while I'm sitting there working because
Doing whatever.
yeah, if I get a break, I'm like, hey, how you doing right now? Stuff like
Yep.
that. And that's the thing is like I still don't get sometimes with YouTube. I know there's very entertaining people, but I, I like Twitch a lot more because you get that interaction, that one-on-one with the person that's entertaining you, and
Yep.
not just what it is that they did. It's that instant interaction with them. So
Right. No, I hear you.
yeah, no, that's why Twitch is my preferred platform.
Yeah. And that's just it. A lot of times I like to just like, because so many people help me do whatever it is that I try to do with my stream and stuff like that. So it's like my growth is usually just so that we get more benefit for the different charity events. So it's like, okay, well, all these people help me. So I like to try to leave up streams. Just I'll stop in and just say hi. But it's like I like to leave them running just so it's like you know that I'm there, at least helping you and supporting you with doing what you're doing. And a lot of times it's like I can't even type in chat because I'll be on the other side of the room. I'll have them on and I'll be over there like building a desk. And I'm just listening to them in the background instead of listening to TV.
Yeah.
And I do that more often than anything else. And it's so funny because my wife said the same thing. She's like, you talking to people? I was like, well, kind of. They're just talking at me. And every now and then I got stop in and just like make a comment just so they know I'm still there type
Oh
of
yeah.
thing. And it's just like, yeah, that's kind of just what I do now instead of actually run. Again, I don't even have cable plugged in up here. I'll just stream like the football games once the season starts.
Yeah.
Um, whereas like, I'll just keep this on as background sound and stuff like that. So
Yep. Yeah, that's normally what I do is just I gotta have something in the background, otherwise work gets very boring, and a
yep.
lot of the what is it, the I don't know what to call it other than data mining. There's some parts of my job where you basically got to go out, research something, and then you're doing the same thing over and over on a task. I'm like, I can't just sit there and concentrate on that because then I overthink it or I get lost in
Yep.
it or my brain just takes off and starts thinking about other things. So that's why I usually have something in the background to help me kind of focus on that, but also do that same action over and over.
Yep.
Yeah,
I hear you.
and Sarah said same thing. Yeah, she loves the interaction so much better than just watching them play, and that's my thing.
Yep.
Why I prefer Twitch over YouTube is I can go in with all these favorite streamers that I have and be able to say hi to them, see how they're doing. They're talking back and
Yep.
forth, and like there's a lot of streams like me and Chegg will sit there in a lot of the streams he does and the streams that I do, and we'll sit there and talk back and forth through the,
Yep.
throughout the stream, and it's just I love that because I love like I've always told people I'm a very social butterfly. That reminds me, I need to put that down as one of my future emotes, but yeah. I've told people before I don't care about partnership. I just want more emotes. If I could pay Twitch
Oh,
to
right.
allow me to do more
Seriously, just let
emotes.
me make a whole bunch of emotes and don't
Yeah,
make people have to pay for other tiers. Just let me dump them
exactly.
all at it for
Yeah.
whatever. It's just like it's just
Ah,
funny.
I want to start a campaign and try and get Twitch to change that, because if I could pay them like
Oh, it'd be
five, ten
so
bucks a
funny.
month for extra emotes, I would totally do that, because that's one of my favorite things is like, going into another channel and all of a sudden I see like I'm saying like, hey, how you doing, whatever streamer, like Ninja.
Yep.
I jump in a Ninja
Yes.
stream, I'm like, hey Ninja, how's it going? And then all of a sudden I'm like, I see these beardo emotes go up and I'm
Yeah.
like,
Oh,
yes.
that is so weird to me. Like when I see people in like other things, I'll go in and they're like, "Oh, hey, look!" And it's like you see, and it's like it's so funny. I'm gonna throw Chag under the bus for this because it's still one of my other favorite things. Is I went in there and a bunch of people said, "Hey," I said, "Hey" to Chag, and I put in his emote. I think I just kind of spammed anybody I was sub to at the time, just like
Yeah.
all in the ESO group, and a bunch of other people put mine up there, and he goes, wait, what is that one? He's like, it's yours. What is it? He's like, it looks like a sea urchin.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, it's the Daedric god of knowledge. And his chat was just like, oh my God, you just insulted Hermaeus Mora.
It's hard to tell though. I mean, it's
I know,
scaled
it was so
down.
funny. I was like, oh yeah, it's the Daedric god of sea urchins. That's what he is.
No, man,
It
and
was
it's
so funny, Chad. I was so entertained.
no, and that's the thing is like I think you get that a lot with yours because it's very hard to tell because I mean you got what is it, 16?
He's squished down.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's
16
really
pickles.
squished down. And
Yeah.
he's not one of the more well-known ones. Like, he's not an Azura Molag Bal or whatever.
Right.
Like, I think he's an ESO like 3 times. Like, and he's just a
I haven't
bunch
even
of
seen him in
tentacles and
ESO yet.
eyeballs.
I
He's
haven't
in
seen him.
Craglorn.
So.
He has a statue.
Oh.
And he's floating around some other place. But yeah, he's not very common. He's not that well known in ESO.
No, it's funny. I think you even said at one point, you're like, maybe I need to think about a new emote.
Yeah, I was like,
and everyone's like, no, everyone now knows that as the LotusOD.
Yeah,
So.
well, Coco, Michelle, and T, the Khajiit, both made a comment. They were like, yeah, he's just mini Mora. We just need to let everybody know what he is. And I was like, okay, that's fine. Because like the artist who did it, I was like, I loved it. He's my avatar and everything like that. And you know, it was done when I first got my affiliate a while ago, and it's ironic. The dude's super nice. His name's Rotting Jackal on Twitter. He actually did the card design for Elder Scrolls Legends. He actually works at Bethesda.
Oh, really? Wow.
And he's always said, he's like, I couldn't tell you at the time, but he was like, that's why I was so excited when you asked me to do an Elder Scrolls thing. He's like, that's exactly what I wanted to do because I needed more practice because I was submitting my portfolio. I was like, oh, he's like, yeah, he's like, so that's conveniently my specialty. I was like, oh, that's awesome. So.
Oh man, you know what's awesome about this stream is like and we talked about this before the show too. I always have my questions, kind of trying to keep things flowing, but it's amazing how many streams now just go wherever it goes. You know, I'm not trying to lead the topic anywhere. I think I tried that with the first 2 episodes and I'm like, not anymore. It just naturally flows now. So
absolutely. And it's funny because like I remember, I mean, with you specifically, it's weird because I have a trash memory, but every now and then there's some things that stick with me.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I saw you post in the thing that you were going live, I was like, oh, somebody else streams in Lore Seekers. I was like, oh, that's awesome. And I jumped in and it was like, it was funny. You seemed like you were kind of getting your bearings or whatever. And then like I didn't get to catch you for a while. And the next time you were on, you had gotten like everything set up. And I was like, wow, he got comfortable with this real fast.
Yeah.
It's like, holy crap. I was like, oh, he's got like his flow going and everything now. Where the first one, it was almost like you looked like you were trying like, oh, what if I try this? What if I do this? And then it was like, nope, he figured it out. He's got this on lockdown now. So I thought that was pretty funny. So, and ever since then, it's just gotten, I feel like I like the way you have your stream set up a lot of the times when I get to drop in. So it's kind of neat to see like when you got started as opposed to when I first met you, as opposed to now. It's like, wow, that got classy quick. So.
Well, and that's the funny thing too is like when I first started off, I was talking to some of the other like the one that really got me started was Duris, and he helped me a lot with setting up the stream, trying to figure things out, stuff like that. And so I was still trying to, you know, figure out what I wanted. And then all of a sudden I'm like, well, I don't even like the theme that I'm using, because like he goes in there, he told me go in there, check out the different themes they have, stuff like that. And so
Yep.
I found one and I was like, oh, this looks pretty cool. But then like as I have messed around with it, and this is almost a daily thing where I change something either with Streamlabs OBS or chatbot almost on a daily basis, because I'm thinking of something new that I want to do or something I want to try out, like my
Sure.
new fancy fade effects now. So um, and that's the thing, is
Again,
it
pinkies
is,
up.
yes, pinkies up for fanciness. Don't choke on your beer.
Fancy.
But yeah, that's the thing, is like it evolves, and that was the thing, is like on the very first stream I wanted Jibs and Cash because I felt really comfortable talking to them, but at the same time I didn't know how structured I need to be, how many questions to ask, because I really wanted to make sure it lasted at least an hour,
Mhm.
and it kind of stays within a certain framework of like how I
Right, have
wanted the show
some
to go.
direction rather than
Yeah.
just all over the place.
Yeah,
Sure.
and now like even with Artemis's stream last week and then this stream today, like it flows a lot more natural, and it gets to that 1 hour so much easier when we're just having a conversation back and forth. And
Right.
that's one of the things that I love about it now, is that that's what it feels like more than anything, and that's what I wanted the show to be. Was it's a chance for people to come on, see LotusOD, hear him talk about other stuff than just Elder
Sure.
Scrolls, and getting, yeah, exactly, you're getting an experience. Oh,
Right.
you're getting experienced, yes. I'm leveling up on my
Yeah.
my streaming abilities.
Soon you'll be in CP.
Chegg, it's the lover that I'm putting my points into. He's got this thing where I'm a also throw Chegg under the bus here a little bit, but
It's just a throw check under the bus
yeah.
stream.
So he has these moments where he says something and it's not meant the way he says it, but it's always funny because you're like, oh man, I'm clipping that. So he had this one time where he was talking about the different CP things that you can put points into. He's going
Yep.
through and reading it, and he's like, "Oh yeah, the lover." So he's reading through, and he goes, "Yeah, basically it has to do with penetration." And so I was like, "What? What did I walk into?"
It sure does.
And so he goes, I forget what he said exactly, but he was like, basically, he goes, "Yeah, that makes sense because lovers like to penetrate." Oh man, I love it. He's got so many good ones.
That's awesome.
And the boner one. The boner is my other favorite one. Where he someone put boner in chat, which is a Elder Scrolls TV reference, where he's got all these sound bites and stuff that he does too.
Yep.
I have to give him credit because he inspired me to do the sound bites on my channel too. But he has this one called Boner that everyone puts in as soon as they come into chat. And so someone did that when he got rated by them. He goes, I don't have a boner. Wait, I don't. So we're all cracking up in chat.
That's awesome.
We love you, Chegg. We love you, buddy.
Yeah.
All right, so you know what, Lotus? Let's segue a little bit. We got 3 minutes
All right.
until 6 o'clock. You still got some time to stick around, or you need?
Yeah, I'm fine. Sure. Whatever, man.
All right, I never stick
We're
to the
good.
6 o'clock, and it drives my wife crazy. So
That's right. We're at like 9 o'clock here. I'm just doing this until I take the puppy out for a run. So I'm
there you
good
go.
with whatever, man. That's fine.
So I'm gonna get into the actual Elder Scrolls part of the show, which is, what is it that draws you towards Elder Scrolls, and how did you kind of get into it? Like, what was the first Elder Scrolls game that you played?
So it's kind of weird. My dad is a huge jock. My mom is a huge nerd. And she is obsessed with like the Lord of the Rings and all that stuff. That stuff sort of was interesting, but it wasn't my cup of tea.
Yeah.
And for a long time, I kind of like straddled the line between like nerdy and like just sports and everything like that. And my first Elder Scrolls game was Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind, which is still my favorite one. On the original Xbox, I went over my friend's house after school, and he just got an original Xbox right when it came out, and he was like, "Oh yeah, check this thing out, it looks crazy or whatever." And I'm playing through some games, and I was like, "Oh, this is fun." I was like, "What the hell is a Morrowind?" And he was like, "Dude, it's not really your type of thing." He's like, you do the shooter and you do the Madden thing." He's like, "I don't know if this is." He's like, "It's really complicated." And I was like, "Well, I'm gonna play it anyways." And
He
I
was
tried it out.
basically saying, "I don't think you'd understand."
Yes, pretty much. That was exactly what it was. And I was playing it for a while, and I was like, "Man, this is weird." But yeah, there's a lot of talking and stuff. But then a couple days go by, and I keep going over, and every time I go over to hang out, just doing whatever. I was like, "Okay, hey, you care if I play that game again?" He's like, "Yeah, sure, that's fine." And then I remember it was about a month, and he goes, "Okay, dude, so you need to stop coming over my house and playing this Morrowind game. Buy your own." And I was like, "Oh." He's like, "Yeah, I never play it. You're always here playing the damn thing." And I was like, "Oh, all right." So I went out and I bought an Xbox, and I put in 6,666 hours when I stopped my clock for the final time.
Oh my gosh.
And it is still the game I've played more than anything else. ESO is getting dangerously close to that.
Hold on, I
But
gotta figure this out. 6,666
yeah, we
divided by
stopped it
8.
because the timer was. I just happened to be at that clock, and I was like, "That's a lot of digits. That's really the same, and that's crazy." Like,
that's holy cow, 833 days.
it was over the course of like a decade because I
Yeah.
played that long after the Xbox died. Yeah, it was an unhealthy amount that we played that game. And the whole time, people were like, "How have you not done everything?" And I was like, "I don't know. I just keep doing more. I just keep finding new things to do with it." Like, yes, 6,666. And again, check. It was over like 10 years, man. I stopped playing. No, not 666. It ended toward the like middle end of the Xbox 360 timeline was when I finally stopped playing. And everybody was like, "I don't know how there's anything left to do." And I was like, "I don't know. There's just always something I haven't found. There's just always something I haven't found." And I would play the other ones and I'd keep going back to that one. And then when Elder Scrolls Online came out, I was like, "Holy crap, now I can play with my friends." Like, oh my God, like this is literally everything all at the same time. And since then, yeah, that's just pretty much what I play instead. This is my Elder Scrolls game.
I love how the people that come in to support you for this stream
come
in and just pick on you and trash on you.
Yeah. So FU Steve, that would be my other Magicosaur from the 3DPS crew.
You know why your name is FU Steve? FU Steve.
Actually, it's kind of funny. So Andrew, who is FU Steve, I'm pretty sure actual Steve is in here. I'm pretty sure he's floating in here too. Yeah, he was in here earlier. He might still be here. So yeah, my mods all beat the hell out of each other. So
oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
But yeah, so that was the one I kind of got hooked on, and then I've just loved the series. Again, I've loved Skyrim and all the other ones, but until ESO, I mean, as I say, I think I'm at 120 days of gameplay in ESO at this point since its launch. Yeah, so I've played like a lot, but yeah, it's just I don't know, something about those games, like the setting's cool, and I just love messing around in the world, even if I'm not doing anything substantial. Yeah. So it's like. Yeah, it's just a lot of fun, and the new one's a good mix of really difficult stuff when you try doing stuff like VMAL and VHOF, and it's just like, wow, I just got wailed on for 15 hours or something like that, and I didn't even beat it. So it's a good challenge as well as something that can be super relaxing when you go fishing and drinking. So
yeah. No, and that's the thing is like I've always said on the stream is I love the variety you have with ESO because you can if I had this conversation with Chegg where like I was telling him I'm kind of getting burnt out doing all the dungeons and the trials with my main character and I really want to do something else, so I started doing fishing Fridays. So I basically just set up my stream, put on some country music, and then tell whoever's in chat, hey, come fishing with me if you want to. I'm going to be fishing if you want to do some. So, but, oh, Chag, did you miss the conversation earlier where we were saying healers are basically irrelevant now? Oh, I'm sorry.
I did not.
Oh, okay, good. I'm glad you made it for that part. And now I'm starting my healer. Now that I say
that. We still need you healers for trials. Yes. I have yet to complete a vet trial without a healer. I'm not sure we could pull that off.
That's true. You still have your purpose in there. Oh my gosh. My wife just scared the crap out of my son. So that was funny. He's too engaged in his game. It must be quitting time because my whole family's coming out of the room and getting ready for dinner. Oh, here comes. Get out of here. What are you doing? Yeah. This is when you know it's almost time to wrap up, is you start seeing kids pop up in the background. I was saying something about something and I lost track. Okay, so let's get back into the ESO focus of the stream, which is okay, so you started playing Morrowind for an ungodly amount of time.
Yes, a really unhealthy amount.
Yes, and now into ESO, another unhealthy amount of time.
Valid.
But let's get into like races and classes and stuff like that. So what's probably your favorite race to play? I know you focus on your one guy.
So. I always choose something different for every Elder Scrolls game. I don't have like a running gag where it's like, oh, I'm always a Nord, I'm always this. I always pick something different. I was a Redguard in Wind. I was a Dark Elf in Oblivion. I was an Argonian in Skyrim. And in this, I am a Nord Dragon Knight. And that's my dude. So I just kind of pick one that looks interesting per game. It's kind of convenient that Nord Dragon Knight actually worked with a tank because I had never played an MMO before ESO. I literally just bought it because of the name. And I actually didn't go in intending to tank. I was just playing and people were like, oh, so you're the tank. And I'm like, I don't even know what that means. Like, okay, sure. I don't know. They're like, well, you're running at everything and smacking it in the face and getting hit a whole bunch. You're the tank because you're just upsetting everything. And you're not doing very much damage. It was like, okay, if that's a tank. And basically, I slowly learned what a tank was. And I was like, oh, this is exactly how I play all the single-player games, so I guess I'm a tank. So I just became like, okay, I'm all in on this one thing, which generally is fine. Like, I like being a tank. I like being support character rather than, like, the one to, do all the damage. The only thing that's weird is, since I want to do everything on my one character, some things are not designed for support roles. VMA, being an Emperor was, you can just kind of outgrind people. But some stuff is not designed so much for support. But again, I don't like being told I can't do something. So I just smash myself into it until eventually I win. Nothing stopped me yet, but we'll see. Finn keeps making stuff more and more difficult, so we'll see.
That seems to be their job now.
Yes. I appreciate it, though. It keeps it interesting.
Yeah. No, and it is fun, because, like, we joke around saying that healers aren't important, but we know if it wasn't for the healers, we would die quickly, because...
And specifically in Trials, it's like, if I did not have my healer tethered to the back of me while I'm blocking for DPS, I was like, I am so dead. I cannot do what I do in dungeons against something with 98 million hit points and hits me like a freight train. Like, I am going to just flop over.
And that's why I made my Cash song here. Hold on. I walked into the vaults of power. I went down, but Cash's heels were higher, and it burns. So, when I used to run, it used to be a group of me, Cash, Jibs, and either Spin or Jeff or Jason. One of them three. Like, all of us would kind of swap in and out. But every time we would play together, I would be the annoying DPS that runs in front of the tank and starts attacking things. So the Lore Seeker episode about dungeon etiquette is everything Orc Guy did wrong when running dungeons.
And it's funny that you say that because, like, yeah, there it is. F you, Stave. He makes my job more challenging as he's screaming and running, chucking stuff. And I'm like, dude, I'm literally in my inventory. And he's like, oh, I'm dead. I'm like, well, come on, man. Like, give me a chance to at least get up there. And he's like, why didn't you tank him better? I was like, yeah, I'm in the previous room. Give me a break. Like, so.
Oh. So was it? So yeah, I don't know. I guess that's the funny thing is like I used to mess around with them after that point because like I was still new to the game when we were running dungeons, and I didn't quite know what my role was because I had dual knives, so I'm like, okay, I got to run in and stabby everything. Well, then they're like, okay, you got to wait for the tank to build the aggro because there's no ultimate grab all aggro button like WoW had and all the other MMOs. They have to individually grab each one. So they're like, let them run in, bash them around for a couple seconds, and then start wailing on everything. So I was like, oh, okay. So I slowly learned where my place was and where I should not be, and the fonts of power of the red AoE underneath the main target. I would always just stand there and take all the damage, and Cash would go nuts. He'd be like, dude, get out of the red. It's bad. I'm like, oh, it's bad? Oh, all right. I'm sorry about that. I didn't realize that. I never died because of it, so I didn't realize it was that bad.
You're just keeping the healers on their toes.
Exactly.
That's what it is.
I'm trying to give them a role in these dungeons because otherwise, like I said, healers would be useless if it wasn't for us standing in the red.
Gotta keep them alert.
Yeah, exactly. So one of the other things I like to ask is, like, what's your favorite part of Tamriel? Where do you like to go and kind of just hang out?
So it's kind of funny. When they announced Morrowind and the island of Vardenfell, I was actually super entertained when the game started, and I was like, oh crap, I get to see the mainland of Morrowind with Deshaan and the Stonefalls. But when they actually launched Morrowind, the game, or the expansion, that chapter was like, I mean, they leaned pretty hard to the nostalgia stuff for chumps like me, where I was like, oh man, I played an unhealthy amount of that. As soon as I walked off that boat again, I was like, oh my god, this is literally perfect.
Yeah.
And I still go there, and it's like, I've got like every achievement from that entire island, and I'll still go there and like fish or something like that, just because I'll sit there and I'm like, dude, this mountain looks so cool, the ash dripping down. I was like, oh, this is so like just awesome.
That's probably that's probably one of my favorite places too, is actually when I first started my character, everyone's trying to tell me, oh, you need to go to this place, you need to go to this place, you need to go do this, you need to go do that, and stuff like that. And I'm like, I don't know where you guys are sending me, and I don't know what you're talking about. So I started out in the normal starter area for my Orc Nightblade, which later on people kept telling me that's a mistake. Why are you playing an Orc as a Nightblade? But I'm like, whatever, I like it. But
you can do a lot with this.
Oh yeah,
it's not so cut and dry. People like it. There's definitely an easy way to do stuff, but it's like anything works.
Oh yeah, and the benefits aren't really like make or break a class. So I mean, unless you do like an Argonian, I don't know, Sork or something like that.
To be fair, I don't know. I'd be curious on like a Nord Sork or something. It's like, man, sweet extra health for that Magicka buff. That's going to be real useful to you.
I don't know. So when I was going through and I was doing all this stuff, I ended up in Vardenfell, and I thought that was the starter area. So I started going through. I did all the quests. Okay. I did all the quests throughout Vardenfell, Vardenfell, and when I got done with it, I was like, oh man, this was really awesome. I loved it. And they're like, oh yeah, what'd you do, Glenumbra or Ardon? Or I'm like, Vardenfell? They're like, that's not even the starter area. Why are you there? I'm like, I don't know, but I like it there, and that's my favorite place. Like, I still want to buy the house that's in Vardenfell because I love the ambiance of it and how
Mm-hmm.
big the house is and stuff like that. So
That Telvanni Tower that was available for a while too was also incredible looking. The giant mushroom spire
oh, I never
was like
saw
a
that one.
time. It was a timed housing thing, and it was enormous. It looked so cool. It was right over by the entrance to the halls of fabrication.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure they'll bring it back at some point, but it was like, oh man, it's so cool. It's just like it's such a unique and like I love all the areas because they all have their own feel.
Yeah.
But it's like that one's just it's so alien and weird with the mushroom spires and the freaky plant life and creatures and everything. So it's very, very different.
Oh man, Artemis just showed up right at the end. All right, well we're getting. No, I'm
Yep.
just joking.
Oh.
All right, so I'm gonna go back and read some chat because I missed some stuff here.
Yeah, I've been doing what I can to just say hello to people
Yeah.
periodically, since a lot of people are here usually harassing me since
If
they came
yeah,
from my normal
well,
stream.
and I'm
As you're used
surprised
to from
Jeff's
being
not
on my
here.
stream.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm surprised either Beta Rays or Cash isn't here heckling me the entire time. So, um, what was it? I saw someone ask a question. Can you
Oh,
put
what
Lotus's
I?
face on your green
Oh, wait.
screen? What? While I'm on the interview, no, I can't do anything because this. I use Discord to do the interview, and there's no options to do anything except for just straight up video chat. And what we realized is it reverses it, so my mesh shirt is actually like hem right now. So, let's see what else is there. And Blood Eye, you know I love you as a healer. Don't even take offense to what I say. I would die without you, literally. They're absolutely important. Azure Fields, waiting isn't in our vocabulary. Exactly.
Yeah, he's another one of my damage dealers where if he's my wife actually because he was actually at my wedding party.
Oh yeah.
Um, yes, that's my buddy Joe. He was actually one of my group, and like I said, my wife is not exactly video game savvy, but every time she comes in to say anything or bring up the puppy or something like that, if there's anyone dead and it says revive and there's a pile of ash, she's like, "Oh, is that Joe?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's Joe." And
Yeah.
now every time she sees him, she's just like, "Oh, is he alive? Good for him," because he's just always running in and exploding first. So
I love how like we were doing a trial, I think, or a dungeon, I don't remember, with Cash, and oh, it was a trial, and I kept wiping so many times that every time I would die, Cash would pull his phone up and play the Teme soundbite, and I was like, oh my god! So I made that in my chat bot, and now it's become custom that whenever I die in a trial or something, someone does the Timmy soundbite. So, yeah. So Blood Eye did ask a nice question that I did not ask. But what is your favorite quest line in ESO? That's a hard
so I'll
one.
have to get. It is, and I think I know what the answer is. But I need to be vague about it because I don't want to ruin anything for anybody. The final portion of crap! Thank you for the gifted sub. That is super nice. Thank
you,
you
Shameless.
so much, Shameless. I appreciate that, my friend.
That's awesome.
So my favorite quest would be the final closing quest when the twist is announced.
Uh-oh. Did we lose him?
That because I don't want to
Oh,
ruin anything because
You cut out. You cut out for a minute there.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
The last portion where you get the twist to the Vardenfell chapter. That is my favorite, but I don't want to explain more than that because it'll ruin it.
No
exactly.
spoilers.
I don't want to. But that portion, yes, that's the twist. That is it. What a twist! That's the twist. I actually don't have an end. I just freeze. That's the twist. But yeah, that is my favorite quest, I think, to date. Just because for some reason I was super invested just in that, and for some reason I did not expect to see who you see at the end of that, and I was like,
Yeah.
wow, I did not see that coming at all. Like,
Yeah.
like whatsoever. So I like that, and I loved how it led into Clockwork and going on.
Yep. No, I love that quest line. That is still my favorite. Man, we have a lot of similarities here. So
Yeah, we do. If only we were allowed to crossplay every now and then.
I
If Sony would
know.
just play nice,
You know
or
what? That's a conversation I keep having on the stream. Is I don't like. I get why Microsoft does it, and then I don't get why Microsoft does it. Why doesn't Microsoft allow crossplay between Xbox and PC? Because they could just corner the market. I mean,
my question is, if we can become a ginger and we can be twins.
wait a minute.
So,
Should I take offense to that? I don't consider myself a ginger. Anyways.
No, I wonder if it's more technical. Like they had the thing where you were allowed to flash your profile from PC to console, but you couldn't ever crossplay. I'm wondering if there's something more to it where Microsoft is just like it might be more complicated to get the two of them to crossplay because you got to think we don't have add-ons on console.
That's true.
But I'm not gonna lie. At this point, going forward, because I don't know this console cycle will end. Because I'm more invested in ESO than I am invested in like my PlayStation or prior to that my Xbox or whatever. If I was allowed to flash my file into a save and bring it to PC, and I was allowed to do that at the end of the console generation, I would probably do that just for the sake of, okay, fine, I don't need to buy a new console. Struggles to try to run this thing. It's still fine now, but it's like I would go to the one where it's easiest to play with everybody. And there's so many of you that I don't get to join. Like,
yeah.
I would love running, whatever with all of you guys on that. I mean, add-ons aren't my thing, but it's just like your whole third of the community I don't get to interact with in-game.
Yeah.
So much as out of game, which would be sweet.
And we're slowly stealing away the Xbox and PS4 players to PC because we had Shoe Swapper convert from an Xbox player to PC. We had, I think, like 2 or 3 other people within the last month just abandon their console game and come play ESO with us on PC. And now there's someone else coming soon, which I will not divulge, but there's someone talking about switching from PS4 to PC soon.
Man,
no
that's
spoilers.
What I mean. I would, if I'm given the option at some point to switch, it might be worth it for me. My problem is I'm so invested with that character. One of my end things is, I mean, I'm not quite there yet, but I fully intend to 100% as best possible that game on the PS4. If I was allowed to bring it over to PC, then it's like, okay, I can keep my stuff. It's like I couldn't imagine taking 100 and whatever it is days and just being like, okay, now from scratch. Like I'm almost at 1,000 CP. I cannot fathom not being CP anymore. It's beyond my comprehension. And I'm just like, when I see people start, I'm like, oh my god, I did that 3.5 years ago. Holy crap.
Yeah.
So
I was really shocked when Shoe Swapper said he was changing because he had a lot of high CP characters on Xbox. So, but no, it's awesome. He's leveled up pretty quick and he's already jumping into a lot of stuff. So, but yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of struggles. I really wish cross-platform was a thing, and they could.
That'd be great. And I wouldn't even mind the disparity of you guys get add-ons and I don't, because I don't find any of the add-ons game breaking. They just enhance it. That's fine. You guys can have them. I'm totally fine. Hey, it is what I is. I use such a minimal UI to make it look like the other games, anyways. People wonder how it's you barely have anything on your screen. I'm like, yeah, pretty much. Even my buffs, I count them in my head, or I stare at the buffs coloring on my arms, and that's how I know when my buffs are up. And people are like, how do you not use buff tactics? I was like, I don't know. I just don't. It's just how I play.
Yeah. No, there's definitely a lot different level when it comes to PC versus console because all those different add-ons.
It gives you a whole different perspective in some of them.
I forget who. Oh, I was watching Snowstorm Studios playing, and he plays on Xbox.
Yes, he plays on Xbox. We bond over being chuds.
That's funny. So I was watching him the other day, and he's sitting here like, "Oh, I need to go to this place," and he pulls up his map. He goes over there real fast and selects exactly where he wants to go. And I'm like, I don't even have the map memorized because I can do
You
other
can just
stuff with
click
add-ons,
around.
yeah, or
Yep.
filters and find what I need so quickly.
Exactly. Yep.
So
No, it's weird because a lot of times I'll watch you guys and I'll be like just some of your UI, and I'm like, what the hell is that? And it's
yeah,
just like, oh, I'm just using this thing to explain this thing, and I'm like, wow, I have a health bar that shows up on screen when I'm in combat and goes away the rest of the time. That's pretty much my UI.
yeah.
Like that's all I got.
Oh, and Blood Eye mentioned Harvest Map. I almost feel now that I have that add-on for the PC. I almost feel
Oh,
like
is that
that's
the thing where it marks the nodes?
yeah. I almost feel
Oh,
like
okay.
that's cheating because I can take the keen eye points out of my crafting and then just
Get your
use
skill
that to
points
find
back.
it. Yeah. So
Yep.
I don't know. And then being able to know exactly where all the chests and the heavy sacks are in dungeons and
Yep.
stuff like that. Like I don't know. It seems like cheating, but I like it because I can
Yeah,
get
no,
my
that
stuff
because that's
easier.
just it. It's like when we do stuff, we have like calls. It's like, oh, chest on me, and like everybody has to like go, okay, point it out on your map. It's like, okay, I'm just gonna grab this and leave. I don't care. Like,
Yeah.
so no, it's very interesting to see the different dynamics that build around the different consoles you play on.
Yep. All right. Well, I'm sorry, Lotus, but I do have to go because dinner.
Yes, I was gonna say, I think I'm being summoned to go take Puppy for a walk anyways, so I think
Everybody's
that sounds good.
everybody's making dinner in the house, and it's making me really hungry right now. So, all right, buddy. Well, I appreciate you coming on the show. I
Absolutely.
had such a
It
good
was an
time talking
absolute
with
pleasure.
you.
So,
Yeah.
no,
No, I definitely like this free form a lot more than my structured forced show that I was trying to do earlier on. But yeah, it definitely flows a lot better, and I really had a good conversation with you, and we actually got to know
definitely,
you,
man.
and just converse and have a good time. And
I know it's always been one of us talking to the other person typing, which is, which is that's right.
drink
Pinkies
our
up.
drinks with the pinkies up because we are classy here. All right, so I am gonna get ready to raid some folks.
Oh yeah. It's always my favorite part of streaming is getting to make somebody else's night.
And I have to go copy the name and paste it, and I have to make sure they're not leaving their stream because otherwise I fail like 100%.
It's just tragic.
Yeah. You know what? Here's a guy that is very supportive to me personally. He's always hanging out in my stream, and I think he just started streaming not too long ago. Have you heard of Mac Attack?
Yes, he actually just followed me on Twitter.
Yeah. He's starting to get into it, so I want to raid this guy because he hasn't. I'm curious to see how his stream goes. I have not caught
That
him yet.
sounds fantastic because
And-
I actually have not gotten to see him yet. But like I said, he just hit me up on Twitter and we just started like communicating. So
Yep.
like that sounds awesome.
Yeah, let's do this. I'm gonna set up the raid.
Perfect.
So, I also never make my mark when I do this raid thing, so I'm gonna start it now, and it's kind of like, am I gonna make it right as the stream ends, or am I gonna keep talking and then it's gonna cut off what I'm saying? So I've started doing this new thing where I just awkwardly stare at the camera.
I like that.
Yeah, and
That's good.
just sit
I
there
like
and
that.
stare at
Oh,
it
we got the
until-
double stare going.
Oh, let's double stare at everyone.
Double
Well,
stare.
triple with this one standing here.
Oh yeah, that's yeah. I didn't even realize I was staring. I'm probably just falling asleep.
And it just cut off.
Perfect.
All right, buddy. Thanks so much for hanging out with me.
Absolutely, that was a lot of fun. Man.
All right, take care. Have a good night.
See you later.